the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On the News Hour tonight, after public outcry, President Tinubu orders suspension of cybersecurity levy. Death toll from Zamfara strain disease outbreak rises to 13. 6 more kidnapped university students in Kogi State rescued. On the foreign scene, 4 persons rescued from collapsed building in Nairobi. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. President Tinubu has suspended the 0.5% cybersecurity on electronic transactions in Nigeria. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, made this known while speaking to journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Tuesday. Idris disclosed that the President had directed the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the implementation and review the modalities of the implementation of the cybersecurity levy. The minister added that the levy was thoroughly discussed at the Federal Executive Council meeting, while adding that the policy is undergoing a review. All electronic transactions were expected to attract a levy of 0.5%.
Security levy. The position of government is that that policy has been suspended. That policy has been put on hold. That is the position of government for now. It is undergoing some form of review. It was reiterated in council yesterday. You know that today's council is a continuation of the council meeting of yesterday. So I can tell you the cyber security levy has been put on hold. It is being reviewed by government. For now, it is on hold.
Well, let's get some insight on this development. Joining us via phone is Mukhtar Suleiman, a public affairs commentator. Mukhtar, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour. Now, Nigerians are divided, especially regarding this particular development. As we've come to learn, the president is not going to go ahead with allowing the implementation of the 0.5% cyber security levy. On one hand, you have a lot of people who are commending the administration for being responsive, for gauging the pulse of the nation and deciding to react to it. But on the other hand, you have a lot of people who are criticizing the administration for not doing its due diligence before going ahead with this whole idea of implementing the cyber security levy. What are your thoughts about this development?
Go with the third hand, actually, that the policy should not have been insisted in the first place. I think it is absurd when government thinks that it is okay for citizens to pay direct tax for mundane governmental responsibilities or duties. The FCC, the NFIU, the NSA are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring cybersecurity in this country, and these agencies have their own budget. To then say that Nigerians should pay out of pocket 0.5% additional tax as direct levy for cybersecurity is absurd. The NSA is backing up almost 50%, if not more, of the entire security infrastructural defense budget. According to that, correct for that.
Yeah. And
for you to then say you want to remove an additional 0.5% for every transaction I do as a direct levy to cybersecurity, I think it is an aberration. It should not have even existed in the first place. I think it speaks of high level of irresponsibility from the government side.
Okay, for some people, obviously this particular idea or policy has been there laying dormant for quite some time. The Tinubu administration decided to activate it by that CBN memo, that but in talking about what comes next, from the Minister of Information and National Orientation, we understand that after the Federal Executive Council deliberated on the issues, this is now put on hold. However, it is being reviewed, so there's a very good chance that we might see it somewhere down the line. What are your thoughts about, the position of the people about some of these quote-unquote anti-policies that the administration says is for the betterment of the country? What can they do? I mean, in spite of the current difficulties that Nigerians are experiencing.
I think there are levels to policy implementation. I'm not saying that every policy that this government has rolled out is a bad policy. I'm saying that every policy that this government has rolled out is a bad timing for such policies. First things first, I was just telling my government that federal security should be more such a direct tax to a specific government function. How many more taxes are we going to pay directly? For Chapter 4 of the Nigerian Constitution says that it is the responsibility of governments to ensure safety and security of the citizens. That is why we have a budget. So to then say I have to pay direct tax for certain security infrastructures is absurd. But despite the fact that 7.5% of our finances and incomes are being collected as tax in terms of service delivery. So I think that makes no sense. I think, like I said, it should not have even existed in the first. But then again, the government has rolled out 6 policies so far by my count, and all 6 have failed. So it also tells you how poorly planned most of what the government is doing. I think the government needs to step up. So far, the only one I've seen that seems to have Edward and Lee with the Russian report that I know that the federal job has exactly been that. Aside from that, it's not. I think every other thing has actually been falling apart. Particularly this cybersecurity level should have been seen in conversation to be had because there's current enormous economic hardship.
Right.
In the banking sector alone, we are paying a lot of levies for a lot of transactional costs, and yet want to add an additional one. I think it shouldn't have been it should be non-existent actually.
All right, okay. Mukhtar Suleiman, thank you for your thoughts. We're going to have to leave it here for now. As you can imagine, there are quite a good number of people that are reacting to this particular development in both a positive and a rather critical manner. But of course, thank you most kindly for your time and for your analysis. Appreciate you for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Mukhtar Suleiman, the public analyst, speaking to the announcement of the president, making it known that the 0.5% cybersecurity levy that was announced over a week ago by the Central Bank of Nigeria, that it will be suspended until further notice. To some of the day's other news stories now, the number of casualties resulting from an unknown disease outbreak, mostly affecting children and women in some communities in Zamfara State, has risen to 13. Findings from hospitals and government sources indicated that a total of 505 cases were recorded across Maradun, Shinkafi and Gusau local government areas of the state. Reports say the disease has spread to Isa and Zurmi local government areas of Sokoto and Zamfara state. The outbreak was first detected in Zibiri village in Maradun local government area in February this year. Similarly, in Shinkafi local government area, it was gathered that the disease was detected in Galadi village in April, following complaints of severe fever and abdominal disorders. A medical staff member at the primary healthcare center in Shinkafi confirmed that 6 persons have died out of the 100 cases recorded so far, while adding that over 60 patients with serious complications have been referred to the Shehu Shagari Disease Control Center in the state. All right, let's speak to Yusho Adamu on that development to learn more about what is happening. Yusho, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour. Now, what is the official statement regarding this strange disease outbreak? Has the government given any clarity around what the disease is actually about, whether we actually know what we're dealing with here?
Well, apart from the first press statement issued by the state government through the State Ministry of Health, there is no any other update from the government. But a day before yesterday, I contacted the director, disease control, Zamfara State. He said they are going to hold a meeting today in Gusau with medical experts, including probably those from the federal government, to discuss more about the disease. And he said at the end of the meeting, they are going to issue a press statement. So this evening, I called him again to find out whether they have drafted the press statement so that we can get something that we can tell the public. But unfortunately, it was not ready. So this is the only update that I can say I can offer for you.
So to this moment, clinically, we don't know what the name of the disease is, or whether it's a virus, whatever it is that we, at the moment, the people of the state don't know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, the people of the state don't know what the disease is all about. But in the first statement, the government has said the disease emanated from the consumption of contaminated water. So apart from that, there is nothing more.
All right. And what is the situation like, especially in some of those areas, Shinkafi, Maradun, and adjoining states like Sokoto, for instance, that have also been identified where some of these cases have been reported? What sort of public health precautions are being taken to perhaps?
Whenever they go to the primary healthcare center, they are being told to be cautious in taking any type of water they come across. Rather, they should try and adopt purification method of the water they are going to drink. Because this time around, you can testify the issue of water scarcity that hits almost the entire northern Nigeria. So the water they are using, they normally get it from the stream or dams around them. So where they too drink and their animals also drink. So they are being told to be very careful of what they are going to consume as far as water is concerned.
Right. So far, death toll still at 13, and the government is still keeping those details close to its chest, apparently, with regards to the identity of this particular outbreak. But Yusha Adamu, thank you so much for the update. We'll keep tabs on this development. Thank you so much for joining us on the news hour.
Thank you.
Yusha Adamu, they are giving us an update on the recent outbreak of a disease that has killed some 13 individuals in the northwestern part of Nigeria. Moving on, medical doctors in Niger State government hospitals under the aegis of the Association of Government General Medical and Dental Practitioners have given the state government until May 30th to resolve the lingering issues of abnormal promotions, place each doctor in his or her rightful position, or face total shutdown by the practitioners. In a letter jointly signed by the chairman of the association, Muhammad Mustafa Aliyu, and the Secretary General, Musa Al-Haji, an address to the Commissioner for Secondary and Tertiary Health in the state, alleged that their patience over the years has been taken for granted by the Niger State government. The doctors say the resolutions at an emergency health sector meeting that was convened by the Ministry of Health on 23rd of April this year to address consequential adjustments in levels for the officers in service, promotion and adjustment of members on the contract appointments, implementation of the reviewed hazard allowance, the new enhanced CONMES, which is a salary structure as implemented by the federal government since July of 2023, and the accountment allowance have been abandoned by the Niger State government. Reports emerged last week on how medical doctors were leaving the state over alleged abnormal promotions, stagnation, and a lack of good working conditions. In the report, the Nigeria Medical Association also asked the Niger State government to act fast as the public health sector in the state is facing an imminent collapse due to the dearth of manpower, while adding that many health workers left the state due to poor working conditions. In other labor-related matters, members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, on Tuesday berated President Bola Tinubu over what they describe as, quote, nonchalant attitude towards university education in the country. The university lecturers specifically faulted the 35% salary increment for professors and the 25% increment for other academics in the university system. Speaking through its president, Emmanuel Osodeke, ASU wondered why minimum wage was yet to be considered by the president, while saying that the recent salary increment was not different from wage award that could be withdrawn by the government at any time. Osodeke also flayed the prolonged delay in the appointment of governing councils for federal universities by the federal government, while insisting that the union had given the Tinubu administration enough time to set things in motion. The National Universities Commission had in June 2022-2023 announced the dissolution of governing councils of all federal universities and boards of other agencies as well as parastatals across the country. But speaking on the development at a briefing, ASU president described the dissolution of governing councils as, quote, illegal, while arguing that the move was against the principles guiding the existence of universities in the country. To Kogi State now, where the state government says 6 more of the kidnapped students of Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara, have been rescued. The State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fawo, disclosed this in a statement released to the media on Tuesday in Lokoja. The Kogi State Police Command had reported 24 students who were believed to have been abducted last Thursday during an attack on the institution. The police authorities also added that 14 of the abducted students were successfully rescued after a fierce battle with the abductors in a bush in Obajana over the weekend. Now, the latest effort has therefore brought the number of rescued students in the attack to 20. According to a statement by the governor of the state, Usman Ododo, he expressed his appreciation to the joint security forces that have carried out the operations, while urging them to continue their search until every last student is rescued. Still talking security, the military high command in Nigeria had on Tuesday confirmed the killing of 4 soldiers attached to Operation Hadarin Daji. Terrorists had attacked a military camp in Faskari local government area of Katsina State on Sunday, killing soldiers and injuring 11 others. Reacting to the incident on Tuesday, the Director, Defense Media Operations, Edward Buba, clarified that the military recorded 4 casualties, contrary to the 5 reported in other sections of the media. Buba explained that after 2 ambushes, 5 soldiers sustained minor injuries in the second operation. He stressed that there has never been any operation carried out by the Nigerian troops where scores of terrorists were never neutralized, while adding that air component of the operation were reinforced during the ambush. To Plateau State now, where the police has paraded a suspected suicide bomber, Benjamin Basil, who entered a branch of a commercial bank in Datinko community of Just South local government area of the state with a fake improvised explosive device while threatening to detonate the device. Now, parading the suspect at the headquarters of the State Police Command, the police commissioner says the suspect was arrested by people in the area and is currently under investigation. Adu Musa has an update.
This is the suspect, Benjamin Basil, almost lynched by an angry mob on Monday when he was nabbed at the bank after claiming to have been strapped with an IED. He had threatened to detonate the device if he was not given the sum of 100 million naira. It took the intervention of the police to rescue him from the mob. The suspect entered the bank when staff members were attending to customers with 2 black and brown bags supposedly be used to collect the money. Confirming the incident, the police commissioner said the case is now under investigation.
This response was received bank that a young man, suspected bomber, entered into the banking hall. When he entered, he moved straight to the office of the cashier and made demands. As he was doing this, the bank manager was alerted. And when the bank manager was alerted, he quickly also put get across to the security agencies. The men from the divisions from the Lantia were also alerted. The victim, the suspect, he sensed danger and started panicking. After it was said done on him that security men have arrived in premises, he took to his heels.
The suspect, Benjamin Basil, upon interrogation said he was forced into the act by suspected kidnappers who abducted him earlier in the day.
There were 6 men in the bus. No, around Police Staff College. They forced me to enter the bus. They pointed gun at me. Then when I entered the bus, they told me to raise up my shirt. I asked why would I raise up my shirt. Then the guy at the back cocked his gun and said that if I don't do it, that he will kill me. So I did it because in our area, there was an incident where a man got shot and his daughter got kidnapped. And the man screamed, he called for alarm, but nobody helped him. And I wasn't really willing to risk my life at that point. So I entered the bus. Then after they wrapped it on me, they told me that it's a suicide bomb. I was very surprised. Then they told me that they will take me to somewhere. I asked, where are you taking me? They said they will take me to a bank. Then they gave me 2 bags. As they gave me the bag, they told me that I would go inside the bank and collect 100 million naira. That 12 of their men are waiting outside. That was what they told me. Then I told them that, okay, they say if I do anything suspicious or try to raise alarm, that they will explode me and kill everyone in the bank. That they have eyes inside the bank and outside the bank watching me. Then I said, okay.
The situation in the area had caused panic, with many running for safety. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Elsewhere, suspected gunmen numbering over 15 launched a deadly attack on Aliko community, claiming the lives of 9 individuals, including a pregnant woman. Now, the incident occurred on Sunday around 4 p.m. in Usha Council Ward of Agatu Local Government Area of Benue State. Yakubu Ochepo, the chairman of Agatu Local Government Area, confirmed this development by revealing that over 500 individuals have been displaced since the attack, while many others have sustained injuries. Ochepo urgently called for both the state and the federal government to bolster security efforts in Agatu, enabling residents to safely resume their farming activities. Agatu, situated in the Benue South Senatorial District, has been grappling with persistent attacks by herdsmen since January this year. The Benue State Police Command stated that they are yet to receive adequate information on the recent attack. And in Edo, the police has confirmed the abduction of an unspecified number of persons said to be Ngote Cement Company workers in Okpela in Esako East Local Government Area of the state. The command spokesperson Chidi Umabuzo, who confirmed the incident, disclosed that operations to rescue the kidnapped persons on Monday evening are ongoing. He said policemen were joined in the exercise by soldiers, vigilantes and hunters. According to Umabuzo, some of the kidnapped victims have already been rescued. The command said it would provide more details of the incident as the events continue to unfold. Now, in Nigerian politics, political enthusiasts are reacting to a meeting between former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi, with talks of a possible alliance ahead of the next general elections. Some think this alliance could help solve the country's problems, while others remain skeptical about its prospects. In this report, Shafiu Suleiman takes a look at the ever-changing political landscape in Africa's biggest democracy.
This week, the former Anambra State Governor, presidential candidate for the Labour Party in 2023 and 2019 presidential running mate to Atiku Abubakar, visited his erstwhile flag bearer in Abuja in what many described as a strategic move to realign forces ahead of the next election. And as the nation grapples with economic uncertainty, the two main opposition political figures in the country have become increasingly concerned about the state of affairs.
Anything can happen in the future. But at this point in time, the most important thing that His Excellency is doing is actually as regard to let us see how we can mobilize and put people out of poverty. That is his target.
Nigerians have, however, expressed divergent views on the perceived 2027 alliance talks that could galvanize a collective push to wrestle power from incumbent ruling All Progressives Congress APC.
Assuming they team together before the time of this election, I think I can remember Kwankwaso and Obi, they intend to team together at a point, maybe power tussle, tear them to pieces.
It will be very, very difficult to take back the power from APC with what we are seeing.
Of course, because of the situation. Look at the situation. Petrol. What is the current power, electricity amount? How much is it now? Look at the school fees for the tertiary institutions. We don't know this in the northern Nigeria.
Others are skeptical of the formidable power of a renewed alliance amongst the opposition political actors, saying such moves have failed to yield results in the past.
All of them, they eat in the same table. They are the same. If you look at the leaders, it's the same timbers and calibers of people. They are the people that govern in Nigeria. But my earnest prayer is that God should touch their hearts.
People are crying. Everybody is crying. Things are very tough and hard. A lot of people cannot even, for now, feed 3 square million a day. Some can't even feed 2.
Barely 1 year into the administration of President Bola Tinubu, who promised Nigerians renewed hope, the alignment and realignment of political interests are taking shape, with Nigerians becoming increasingly dissatisfied with the quality of political leadership in the country. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the news hour on Trust TV. Still to come. House rent prices spike amidst economic downturn in Kaduna. Details of this and many more stories up ahead in just a moment. You're welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at our top stories. After a public outcry, President Tinubu orders the suspension of the cyber security levy. Death toll from Zamfara's strange disease outbreak rises to 13. The Independent National Electoral Commission has warned against double and multiple registrations in the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise ahead of the off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo states. The chairman of the commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, gave the warning at the second quarterly consultative meeting between the INEC and civil society organizations in the country. Trust TV's Amarachi Amoshi has more.
The INEC chairman, who briefed them of the commission's preparation for the off-cycle election in Ondo and Edo, enjoined them to cooperate with the commission to ensure the success of the election. He also highlighted the modalities the commission is putting in place to make the continuous voters registration exercise seamless.
Taking into consideration the limited time to the governorship election, the commission has decided to conduct the registration at ward level and our state headquarters instead of the local government offices and a few designated centers, as was the case in the past. This means that there will be 192 ward registration centers in Edo State and 203 registration centers in Ondo State, in addition to our state offices in Benin City and Akure, making a total of 397 walk-in registration centers in the 2 states. There will be no online pre-registration option in the 2 states because of time constraint.
The INEC chairman appealed to CSOs to cooperate with them in order to make the off-cycle election a success.
To remind civil society organizations on the need to submit your applications for election observation in earnest, along with the required supporting documents and a realistic number of individual observers. Doing so will enable the Commission to produce and deliver the identity cards for observers in good time. The Commission will not entertain requests outside the deadline for the receipt of applications from interested observer groups or process applications that do not meet the established criteria.
Representatives of the civil society organization appreciated the chairman and the commission for believing in them and promised not to disappoint.
Also appreciate the fact that even though the commission is independent, they seem to partially depend on us for collaboration and cooperation. We promise that we will fulfill all the demands you have made of us.
The INEC chairman, who noted the existence of vacancies in the National and State Assemblies due to death or resignation of members in 3 state assembly constituencies and 1 federal constituency in 4 states across the country, assured that as soon as preparations are concluded, the commission will announce the date for the by-election. Amarachi Amoshi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Residents of Kaduna Metropolis are attributing the surge in house rents to insecurity and the escalating cost of building materials in the ancient city. Speaking with Trust TV News, a cross-section of residents expressed their concerns over the rising rental prices while noting that despite their incomes losing purchasing power, rents have continued to soar, making it increasingly difficult for them to afford housing. Bello Musa tells us more.
Shelter is one of the basic needs of every individual. However, the rental market in Kaduna has witnessed a significant surge, with tenants struggling to pay their rent amidst the rising cost of living.
People are feeling very difficult, especially this time around in Kaduna. Things are not easy for people.
Everything done the high. So even these houses that you see here, where before they pay 20, now it's about 60,000. We pay 20, 25. The one that has better slim 25, the one that has lower this thing, we pay 20. But as I'm talking to this kind of houses, if you can turn and see them, you see it's about 60,000 naira. Now, before you even get the house, you must follow agent. At the end of the day, you are spending more than 80,000. Agent fee 20, sometimes agent fee.
Inda an ce mutum yana gidan haya bayi da kwanciyar hankali.
Towards the expiration of annual rent, tenants enter into panic mood due to the stress of raising money, especially now that landlords have increased rents.
Komai zai iya faruwa.
Atahiru Muhammad is an estate and property manager. He told Trust TV some of the factors responsible for the surge in rents in Kaduna.
People in the rural area, they have migrated to urban area because of the insecurity. Most of the chairmen, well-to-do personnel in the local government level in Kaduna State, most of them, they have migrated to Kaduna City, which caused the higher demand of the rent. When there is a higher demand, when the demand is higher than supply, definitely the price will hike.
Muhammad Salusi is a landlord. He says the need to increase the rent has become imperative due to the economic situation in the country. The single room we used to rent out for 15,000 naira is now 70,000 naira. It is not our fault because roofing sheet that we are sold for 12,000 naira a bundle now cost of 90,000 naira. I used to buy a bag of cement at the cost of 2,200 naira, but now it is 10,000. With that kind of appreciation, You can imagine the cost we incur just for renovation.
So,
according to experts, addressing the housing deficit in Nigeria will take away some of the challenges associated with hikes in property rentals.
Government can really help or assist, make a lot of assist, building some of these estates and subsidize the price for the citizens of each state, and that one will help the people.
Both landlords and tenants who have been impacted by the rising cost of living are appealing to the federal government to address the economic challenges in the country. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, the Nigeria Electricity Management Services Agency, NEMSA, has emphasized the need for Nigeria to ramp up investment to help tackle the frequent collapse of the national grid. This concern arises as Nigerians continue to grapple with erratic power supply across the country. Ibrahim Ismail tells us more.
The Nigerian national electricity grid has suffered 3 collapses between January and April 2024, underscoring the challenges in the country's power sector. To remedy this, NEMSA emphasizes the need for substantial investment to stabilize the grid.
The distribution is in the hand of the private sector. The generation is on the hand of the private sector. What government has now is the transmission. So you need a lot of investment to be able to maintain the networks, to be able to upgrade the networks, to be able to expand the networks. You agree with me that there are liquidity issues in the sector. We have inadequate liquidity because there's a huge debt in the power sector that is being addressed by all the stakeholders under the leadership of our Honorable Minister, Chief Adebayo.
In a bid to uphold safety standards and quality control in the electricity sector, NEMSA is keen on partnering with Trust Media Group to enhance public awareness.
Therefore, to mitigate these hazards of electricity, we have to effectively mitigate these hazards. And we do that through the effective enforcement of these technical standards and regulations. And that's the main reason why the agency, Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, was established.
In response, the management of Trust Media Group pledged full support to NEMSA in fulfilling its mission.
TV programs, so we have to go out in search of the news. And now here are newsmakers coming to us. So every time we have this courtesy visit, we have to thank the people who come here because you are coming closer to us. And that's why we have a range of people from the editorial side as well as the business side, so that they will interact with you and ask some few questions concerning the activities of this organization to see how this partnership will be deepened.
As stakeholders struggle to address the epileptic power supply in the country, the labor unions are contesting the recent electricity tariff hike, calling for a reversal and turnaround of the nation's power sector. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In other news, the federal government has been called upon to intervene through relevant agencies in order to address issues around oil spillage and the attendant effects on the environment. The call followed a life-threatening oil spill fire that consumed a large portion of a bush area along the Tombia-Asoma Road in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. At the site of the fire, residents were cautioned against using rainwater within this period due to the negative toxins reactions from the atmosphere, while others whose farms and fishing traps were consumed by the raging fire appealed for assistance from the government as their means of livelihoods have been destroyed.
Incident. For now, we do not know if an oil facility there has been attacked, but those who went in and came out said the fire has, consumed a large area in the bush, and they feel that it's an oil spill fire. We do not know whether the facility is being attacked, whether pipeline or any other thing. But looking at the atmospheric pollution, I think I also advise that people should avoid rainwater now. Should avoid rainwater because of the carcinogenic effect from hydrocarbon. And if we are talking about crude oil, particles, the elements contained in it, we shouldn't drink even the water. We shouldn't bathe in it. We shouldn't walk in it for now because of anticipated negative, toxic reactions from the atmosphere. I'm thinking that the state authorities, especially from the Ministry of Environment, should reach out to the relevant oil company that owns their facility over there, especially Shell, because I don't think within that area any other company operates, to make sure that they visit the site officially for joint investigation visit.
Elsewhere, the House of Representatives has denied a $150 million bribery allegation against the House Committee on Financial Crimes. Chairman of the committee, Ginger Obinna, who stated this during a press conference at the National Assembly on Tuesday, says the allegation was false, while stating that at no point in time did he nor any member of the committee demand for such an amount. Obinna said the committee's interactions with Binance representatives were formal, open and transparent. He reiterated that the committee never met with the Binance team outside the National Assembly, nor did it delegate any individual or entity to meet with Binance team on its behalf for any purpose, contrary to an allegation by some sections of the media. Reports had it that the committee had invited Binance and its chief executive on 4th of March 2024 to appear before it to answer allegations of multiple financial and economic crimes and irregularities perpetrated by the platform against the Nigerian economy and state, but failed to appear before the House committee.
Mr. Changpen Ho was sentenced to 4 months in prison, down from 3 years demanded by prosecutors, for money laundering, unlicensed money transmitting, and violation of SCATL in the United States. Richard Jones, the presiding judge at the sentence hearing, said Zoe put Binance growth and profit over compliance with United States laws and regulations. This is exactly what they have done in Nigeria. They have only put their own growth well and above the concerns and the economic conditions of Nigeria. They don't even care. They make billions of dollars from this country. Even in the private pre-hearing meeting, they accepted before our representation there that they are guilty of all the allegations leveled against them.
Time now to bring you up to speed with the latest in business. Here's Yusuf Akugu with the latest.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akugu. The Central Bank of Nigeria has appointed 11 pre-shipment monitoring and evaluation agents for oil and gas exports in Nigeria. The appointment was contained in a circular dated May 13, 2024 and signed by the Apex Bank Director of Trade and Exchange Department, Hassan Mahmoud. The statement revealed that the appointment take immediate effect. The circular divided the appointment to include 9 pre-shipment inspection agents and 2 monitoring and evaluation agents. The Central Bank of Nigeria recorded an increase in international payment during the first quarter of 2024, reaching $1.61 billion. According to data obtained from the Apex Bank website, this represents a 22.7% increase compared to $1.31 billion recorded in the fourth quarter of 2023. The data also revealed that higher foreign debt service and payment increased by 18.7%, while direct remittances saw a substantial increase of 127%. Payment for letters of credit experienced a decline of 15.6%. Analysts attributed the decline to changes in trade dynamics or reduced reliance on letters of credit for international transactions. Capital market operators has urged the federal government to consider listing the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, on the Nigerian Exchange Limited as a strategic move to bolster the capital market. The president of the ICMR, Seyi Owotoro, emphasized the significant impact such a move could have on the nation's economy. Owotoro pointed to the dividends declared by Saudi Aramco, a leading Saudi Arabia oil company, whose earnings last year alone surpassed the entirety of the Nigerian national budget. He added that NNPC has a potential to grow adequate revenue to support economic growth and development. Equity segment of the NGX closed in red for second consecutive trading session this week as profit taking continues. Let's see how it went down today. Dangote Sugar leading the losers there, losing a huge 10% to close at 40 naira and 50 kobo per share, followed by PZ. PZ also down 10% as well to close at 22 naira and 50 kobo per share. Of course, TPLC down 10% to close at 2 naira and 25 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged down the market by 0.78%. If you look at volume of trade, 306.596 million shares, value at 5.813 billion naira. In a list of 7,951 did exchange as among investors. Of course, some equities did well by dominating the top trading equities. We see leading that table is Access Corporation, 32.725 million shares traded. Jitco, 31.028 million shares. Of course, Nigerian Breweries, 27.442 million volume of shares traded at the close of business today. Of course, some equities recorded gains at the close of business as well. Of course, leading that table is Len Africa, up 10% to close at 3 naira and 63 kobo per share. Tantalizer PLC up 10% to close at 55 kobo per share. Of course, Mark Nichols also up there, 9.89% it gain to close at 1 naira per share. That's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and of course the exchange rate data for today. Oil prices changed slightly on Tuesday as OPEC maintained its global oil demand forecast as investors await U.S. inflation indicators this week. At the London market, European Brent sell for $82 per barrel. For the oil basket, dealers offered $84 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Let's take a look at international developments now. At least 4 persons were rescued from the rubble of the collapsed building in the Matare neighborhood of Kenya's capital, Nairobi, on Tuesday. 3 of them were critically injured, while 1 person sustained minor injuries. The Kenya Red Cross has said more people were likely to be trapped under the rubble. The building was undergoing demolition when it collapsed, according to the Red Cross. The building had been recently vacated and was ordered to be demolished as it was too close to a river, according to local authorities. 1 person died in a similar incident on the 1st of May when a 4-story building under construction collapsed in Karia area in Kirinyaga County. Let's talk sports now. Here's Adeni Ajishafe with today's update.
Niger United and Safety Babes kicked off the defense of their titles with victories at the first phase of the Adoba Handball Premier League 2024 in Benin City, Edo State. Nigeria United began their match with the same vigor that earned them the title last year, especially in the first half, but had to really dig deep to thwart the onslaught from Benue Buffaloes, spurred on by MVP performance from Shahul Joshua to earn a 33-28 victory over the Makurdi Bay side. Other matches in the men's category saw 2023 runners-up to the Marine Academy with an exceptional Isiaka Muhammad defeat newcomers Adamawa Warriors 47-33, while Kano Pillars beat Correction Boys 18-17. Former champion safety shooters wallop newly promoted Sunshine Kings 27-12, while the defenders edge out Seasider Boys of Lagos with a 25-22 victory. In the women category, defending champion Safety Babes continued their winning streak from last season as they defeated newly promoted Chief of Army Staff Babes 31-18, while experienced Imo Grasshoppers defeated Defender Babes 29-27. Rima Queens and Rivers Queens played out 29-29 draw, while Seasider Babes shocked the home fans as they ruthlessly defeated Bended Dynamos 34-19. Former champion Plateau Peacocks defeated Delta Queens 30-26. And in athletics, the Minister of Sport Development, John Owan Eno, has backed world record holder Toby Amuson for a podium finish in the upcoming Olympics in Paris. Amuson produced another stellar performance at the Athletics Invitational in Kingston, Jamaica, running a blistering 12.40 seconds to win a worldly time. The minister, while praising Toby, believes she has what it takes to be on the podium in France. Toby beat world champion Daniel Williams, who came second in 12.46 seconds, while Christina Clemens was third with 12.54 seconds. The Olympic Games are slated for July 26 to August 11. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Well, just before we go, to give you a heads up, Man City is leading against Tottenham Hotspur 2-0. And it looks like it's going to be right to the very end before we get the champion of the English Premier League. That's our package for you on the News Hour tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. As always, feel free to follow us across social media handles. Also, check out our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for your time and good night.
The Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.